I read a book every single week for 3 months. And I promise you, I'm not here to talk to you about speed reading tricks because I don't read fast. I'm here to talk to you about how you have to read 5 hours every single day. It's just systems that I put into place that seem to have worked for me, and hopefully they work for you as well. If you're new here, my name is Tegad. I'm 21 years old, and I'm documenting my journey to living a productive life, trying to optimize my systems and workflows, and just sharing that journey with you guys. So stick around. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the purpose of reading, some of the strategies that I implemented that helped me cover this much, at least I think they are much, in this amount of time. Some of the books that I've read, maybe so you could add them to your reading list if that's something you're interested in, and how exactly you could get started. So firstly, the purpose of reading. I think it's very important for us to understand this because you don't know how much you don't know till you eventually start knowing. And what I mean by that is you won't know the degree to how little your knowledge till you expose yourself to much more knowledge, and that's what reading does. So I don't really see it as trying to go through the pages of the book. I see it as a tool for me to level up. I've said it time and time again, if you follow me, that someone has done something that I want to do. They have put that many years of experience into a book. Usually it's like this big, right? And I could gain access to all of that knowledge simply by getting the book and reading through it. And in my head, like, it's almost a no-brainer. Like, why don't you read? Now, of course, this video is talking about how to read fast and everything, but I mean, if you don't have this disposition at the start, then probably none of the things I'm going to say in this video will work for you, right? You have to understand that reading is a system that you use to move from where you are to where you want to be. I mean, in 2024, I went from reading 10 books in the entire year, and now I've read, I think, about 11 or 12 books, and we're just in the 14th week, or currently the first week of April, at least at the point of filming this video. So the gap literally is so wide. Of course, there was a lot of trial and error in the process, but I eventually found a 4-step reading strategy that has worked for me. So let's go. The first is read books that align with the person that you want to be. I mean, I used to be that person that would read any random book. I watched a lot of YouTube videos back in the day, even now. So when maybe one of my favorite YouTubers says a book that they're currently reading, I'll just quickly go and add that to my reading list. And I'm in a school where they talk about reading a lot and always give we have like a book of the month every single month. So that's what I'm reading, just general books and all the rest. But one thing that has helped me so far is reading books that align with the person that I want to be. So I want to become a better entrepreneur. I'm reading business books. I want to increase my focus. I'm reading productivity books, deep works and building habits and all the rest. And the reason why it's going to be so easy for you to complete books like that is because you are reading something that aligns with what you want to do or what you're currently doing. So it's not far-fetched. It's one of the reasons that why I personally don't read fiction books. There is absolutely nothing wrong with reading fiction books, nothing at all. But I will always start and stop midway because it doesn't align with the person that I want to be. It doesn't interest me, it does not excite me, right? But when I'm reading business books, I always will finish it, if it's a good book as it, right? When I'm reading productivity books, because these are the things that I currently do. So read books based on the kind of person that you want to be. Number 2, read books that fill your knowledge gap. If you have a problem in business or in productivity, or there's something that is missing in your life, get a book on it and read it. The idea is that you're going to be able to finish a lot faster because you're reading to answer a particular question that you have. This is one of the biggest game changers in your life. So the first thing is to look at your life, take a careful exploration of your life and then find out some of the gaps. So maybe you're struggling with building habits, read a book on habits. You find out that you're working but you struggle with focus, find a book on focus. Or you're into business and there's something in particular that you're missing. Maybe you don't know how to get leads for your business, read a book on that. You don't know how to build offers, read a book on that. Like, it's one of the biggest things that has literally changed my life. I remember that when I wanted earlier in the year, I wanted to start my personal brand and take it more seriously, right? I immediately went to Google to type what are books on personal branding, and I found one. I think it was the 90-day brand plan. Such a good book. I read it in like 5 days. Not because I'm a fast reader, simply because there were questions that I needed the answers to. Same thing like with this book, $100 million offer, Alex Hormozi. I'm giving my coaching program currently. Some of you already know because I shared it in like my 12-week video. But I'm building my coaching program currently, and I was struggling to craft an offer, right? Like to to come up with a system that would help me, build the offers that would be irresistible as it were. I quickly remembered this book and I read it in maybe about 4 days. And again, the purpose is because I had a question and I needed answers to them. And if you keep reading books like that, you need answers to a particular problem, you're always going to want to finish, at least like on an average, right? Because you need the answers to those questions. Then my third is the in-between book trick. It's like when I thought of it and I implemented it, it literally, like, it blew my mind. So what I would do is, so just like from the previous point, when I think of a problem that I'm currently facing in my life and everything, I have like different knowledge gaps that I have, right? Not just one, different knowledge gaps. I remember I started reading Secrets of the Secret Place because I didn't like how my devotion was looking for like the past 2 weeks and everything. So I got that book and started reading it, right? So I have these different knowledge gaps. So I have like a reading list, a series of books, not random. It's not I hear someone say, oh, you should read this book and I put that in. It's based off of the knowledge gap from the previous point that we mentioned. So I have that, and then I have a book that I'm currently reading. So say Ikigai, really solid book by the way. So let's say this is the book that I'm currently reading. $100 Million Offers is the next book that I want to read. I really, really, really want to read $100 Million Offers because remember, I need answers to the question of how do I build my coaching program with an offer that's irresistible, right? So I really want to read this book, but I'm currently reading this one. And by the way, I never read 2 books at once. I know the number of people that do 2 books, 3 books, and it works so well for them, but I personally don't. So I really want to read this book. So what I'm going to do is, because I want to read this fast, and I'm going to finish this one fast, right? But the trick here is I will put another book in between, right? So I'll put another book in between. So maybe something like like deep work. Right, I'll put that book in between. So what's going to happen is and again, the book I'm putting in between is not a general or random book. It's also a book that I need to solve my problem, right, or to answer a question. So because I really want to get to this one fast, I'm going to finish reading this one fast, and then finish reading the middle book fast, and then going to get to this one and finish it fast as well, right? So what would happen is I would have read 3 books simply because I delayed a little bit that gratification so I could do this one. I mean, it worked for every single thing in life. Like when I was younger, my mom used to say that, oh, Tega, I will get you like a new phone if you maybe got first in your class or something like that, right? So she most likely always wanted to get me the phone, only that she's putting something in between so I can get that done. So she's killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Like it's such a crazy, thing. Now, the trick here is not to overdo this. Like, try not to put 2 books or 3 books in between, because what's going to happen is that your desire for that book that you eventually want to get to is probably going to go down, right? So try and limit it to 1 or 2 books, right? But I think for me, my sweet spot is just 1 book in between that, and then finish that, and then just keep doing that. And also, I don't use the trick every single time, because if you are reading only books that you want to, that are aligned with your vision and are answering particular questions, then you don't always need to do the trick, right? But then it's something that I thought to add because it helped me a lot. And then the final step is schedule time to read every single day. I mean every single day. You see, it doesn't have to be because I try to read a book every week, but that's not the point of this video. Is not to get you to read 1 book per week, right? I know some of my friends read 2-3 books per week. I don't know how to this point, right? But then the point is not to read more books than me or less books than me. The point is I'm literally just sharing my ideas and journey and everything, right? So I personally have to read 40 to 50 pages every day to meet up with that target. But what I'm saying is not even that you always have to meet up to your target, it's that you should read every single day. So even on days where you feel really tired, right, instead of saying, oh, okay, my goal is 30 pages every day, I can't get to 30 pages, so I'm not going to do it all together, right? You should try and do 5 pages or 10 pages, even on days that you're really tired, because what's going to happen is that it compounds really, really well, right? So after 1 month of reading every single day, 1, of course, your knowledge will just become a different person because you're reading books, remember, that are aligned to yourself. And then 2, you are eventually getting those reps in, right? So it's not every single day you're going to do the bare minimum, but read every single day. Put systems in place. You could use a habit tracker, like I shared this in one of my videos. So if you use a habit tracker, for that. You watch my last video on that. So you usually have a tracker and then you track how you're reading every single day. But the point is, make sure that you are, even if it's 5 pages, 10 pages, just or a chapter, however it's in, just make sure you're getting those reps in every single day. And in addition to that, I think a good mathematic trick will help. So what happens is that every time I pick up a new book to read, I always check how many pages is it. It is, so this is 173 pages. This one is quite straightforward, but there are books that have, like the back page has appendix and notes and all the rest, so I don't read that, so I don't count it. So I basically get the total number of pages that I want that should be read in that book, and I divide it within the span of time that I want to read, and that puts things into perspective. So I don't really do 20 pages per day, 30 pages per day. It's always dependent on the book that I'm reading, right? So if the book, like, I think the next book I want to read is 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, and that book is like 300 and something pages, right? I'm most likely not going to read it in a week, maybe 10 days as a web, right? So I'm basically just dividing it within the amount of days. So I'm putting it into perspective. Okay, every single day I want to read this amount of books. So here's some of the books that I've read. Deep Work by Cal Newport basically talks about how to focus on work and how you should focus or leave shallow work, right? And implement your time on doing things that actually are productive to you. Then another was 90-Day Brand Plan by Dane Walker. Basically taught how to build a personal brand, like almost every single thing you need to know. Then I read Holy Spirit, My Senior Partner by David Young. Again, how to have the Holy Spirit be close to you and always, to see him as a person and not as a force, as it were. Speak Like Churchill, Stand by Lincoln by James Humes. And it's a public speaking book. He talks about different PowerPoints, how to present yourself on stage, whether it's by your dressing or your voice or even PowerPoint presentations and everything. Solid book. I read Case for Christ by Lee Strobel. It's an apologetics book. It's a book on defense of the faith. All right, how Jesus Christ was a man that actually lived, died and resurrected according to scripture that is reliable. Then I read The Richest Man in Babylon by George Clason. It's a classic book, really old book, but it's so good. Like, it's super, super amazing. It has like the basics of the foundations of money, how you should save 10% of your income, try as much as possible to clear all your debts, always live below your means. Like, it's almost basic principles, but I think it's a really, really, really good book. Then I read The Knowledge of the Holy by A.W. Tozer, just talking about the attributes of God a bit in depthly. It was a really short book, but really, really powerful. Then I read TikTok, Managing Time and Chance. It was a friend that gave me this book, right? But it basically was about how to take your opportunities, seize them, and work with them. I read The Almanac of Naval Ravikant, one of the best books I've read this year. Naval talks about, so it's like I don't know if it's a biography, it's an almanac of Naval, basically. So it talks about wealth, talks about how to live a happy life, talks about health, basically, right? And I think it's such a good book. I don't agree with every single thing that he said there because I'm Christian, and he uses a lot of Buddhist terms and everything, but at least for the wealth side of things, like it's a really, really solid book. Then $100 Million Offers, really good book, right? Alex talks about how to build offers that are irresistible, that would make people feel very dumb for saying no. Solid book. Then Ikigai, amazing book. Basically talks about how to live a long life by doing the things that you want. I think one of the major things that was really powerful to me from this book was how we shouldn't think of retirement as stopping work entirely, but if we're always doing the work that we enjoy, then we never have to retire. And this is like the secret to living a long life. So these are just some of the books that I've read. Maybe there's one or two more that I didn't mention, but these are some of the books that I've read. And maybe take your pick from this and see if it's something that you'd enjoy. So just a quick recap and how exactly it is you get started today. Firstly, understand the purpose of reading. Like, find your own meaning for it, right? Are you reading for fun? Are you reading because you want to level up? I think reading is a great tool for leveling up and changing where you are and going to where you want to be. And the next basically is to read books that align with the person that you want to become. So you're not reading abstractly, read books that align with the person that you want to become, and you read a lot faster. Find books or read books that solve your current problem or that fill in knowledge gaps. You're going to want to read this fast course, you need answers to those questions. Use the in-between block method. So put a book in between one you're reading and one that you really want to read, so you can close that gap and you will read a lot more books. Then the final is make reading a daily habit. Even if it's 5 pages, 10 pages, it's going to change the game over the long term. So if you want to build habits, and get better at this, then make sure that you watch the video on your screen about building, how to build habits and everything. Then in the comments, put in the book either you're currently reading or the best book that you've read this year. Maybe I can see one or two that I could add to my reading list. Thank you for watching. See you next time.